the best.
Good afternoon and welcome to your favorite current affairs program. It is 60 Minutes Nigeria. My name is Egosa Agbonlao. I must thank you for being there to savor your time with us on the program. Today's program, we're going to be taking a retrospective look at what transpired in both Bayelsa and Kogi State governorship elections, and also the legislative elections took place alongside the governorship elections. The fallout, unpalatable, I must admit, because the observers who observed the elections have a very damning report, but the elected executive governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, who has gotten a second term, believes that the report is not enough to discredit the Kogi State governorship election. In Bayelsa State, we have change of guard. Since the emergence of democratic rule, the PDP ruled Bayelsa State. But that has changed with the governorship election. We now have the APC in charge. And of course, Chief David Leon of the APC emerged governor-elect of Bayelsa State. And the Independent National Electoral Commission has presented certificate of returns to the Bayelsa State governor-elect, Chief David Leon. Once again, I'm Egosa Agbonlao, welcoming you to this program. A very eminent personalities with me today. I have a very, very renowned analyst and communication strategist, as I say, Dubo. Nice to have you with us today.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm glad to be here.
We have the secretary of the Christian Association of Nigeria, Edo State Chapter, Sir Best Iriabe, a very well-traveled man. We also have with us a very renowned clergyman in Edo State, and of course a regular face on this show, a seasoned analyst as well, Dr. Emeka Ekuga. Nice.
Thank you, Vies. God bless you.
So, we are looking at the conduct of the 2019 Bayelsa and Kogi State governorship polls in retrospect. But, like I told you, while the governorship election was on, the legislative election was on as well. And in Kogi State, Kogi West senatorial seat election has been declared inconclusive by INEC. But the Senator Dino Melai, who needed to go for that post, has submitted a petition to INEC, supported with video clips of what transpired, because he believed that there was violence, and to him, that election was not an election. Let's listen to him, and of course, INEC also reacted immediately.
If INEC have any integrity, they must cancel the Kogi West senatorial election, because it was marred with violence in every part of the senatorial districts. So there's no reason to begin to. Votes were returned in places where people were killed. Votes were returned in places where ballot boxes were carted away. It is unimaginable that we're in a country like this. They claim that there were 66,000 policemen recruited, and the IG yesterday said there are fake policemen. The guns these fake policemen, purported fake policemen are carrying, are the guns also fake?
This petition has been submitted to us. There are 21 CDs here. We are going to review all the CDs, review the petition, and then we will take the appropriate step in the circumstances.
Melai, for you, he has actually submitted a petition to INEC as regards the conduct of that legislative election in Kogi State. It was marred by violence, according to Senator Dino Melaye, and of course, according to the observers. But like I said, the governor of Kogi State believes that the pockets of violence should not be considered enormous enough to discredit the conduct of the election. Gentlemen, we'll start with Alarise Udubo. Looking at Kogi State, looking at Bayelsa State. Let's start with Kogi State. What's your take on the election?
Yeah, very honestly, in your intro, you already said everything about the whole setting. Elections have come and gone, but the ripples will remain forever. If everybody is saying the same thing, okay, not everybody now, if 80% are headed towards a direction, it's just natural that the other 20% should also rethink and see whether that direction is right or wrong, because everybody is believing that that election was marred with unspeakable violence. Okay, outside of the governor who, so to speak, was re-elected, the two other major candidates believe that the thing was marred by very, very serious malpractice, to the extent that they believe that the party agents of one party were shielded by military operatives to cause mayhem. And if that is the matter, in a situation whereby you have, okay, not confirmed now, some say 16 persons died, some say 9, whether 9 or 16 or even 1, why should anybody die in an election? Election is not war. It's not even a thing that we should be recording death. Now, I mean, there are video clips to show military men harassing people, you know, seizing ballot papers, destroying ballot papers. So how can one now say that was an election? I can't weep now, because weeping for Nigeria does not take you anywhere. Otherwise, I would have wept for Nigeria. But weeping won't take you anywhere. I've always told people, in a situation whereby you weep for nothing, you can keep on weeping. But if weeping can correct a situation, one will have wept for Nigeria. But I haven't said all of this. I just believe that that Kogi election has taken us some steps backwards. We are supposed to be improving at every election. But in our own case, at every election we retrogress, we go back many steps. And that to me is not too nice. So I just believe that in times to come, but I'm very happy that the Senate has had a second reading of the e-voting. Let's believe that that will come to play eventually, because there is no reason why one life should be lost in an election. Okay,
we'll come back to you. But we must quickly interject here. I must quickly interject here and bring this information to the fore. The Inspector General of Police has revealed to journalists that actually that the police was having intelligence report that some of the political parties or some persons were actually planning to use fake police, that's some persons to put on uniforms, and that these men are not actually known to the police force. We must quickly correct that.
I'll come back to that.
Okay, now let's get the thought of Sir Best Iriabe. Now, looking at both elections, but let's start with the Kogi election. What's your take on it?
Yes, of course, we have heard from the media several reports of wanton violence, taking of lives because of election. Now, the question you ask yourself, the political class, what kind of mindset do they have in wanting to grab office? Do they have the mindset of coming to occupy a position in order to satisfy the yearnings, the yearnings of the populace who are crying for infrastructural development, the populace who are yearning for improved lifestyle and stuff like that, or they are coming to weather their own personal storm? Are they coming to work for the common good of the people or their own private good? If it is true that this political class are coming to work for the common good, there will be no need to hire thugs and want to kill people because you want to occupy any position. That's the problem we find ourselves. So, in the final analysis, you discover that the real enemies of the entire process are the people themselves. Not even the INEC. not even the police. You see, when the process was about to start, and they were making arrangements, you know what came to my mind? I said, oh, poor people. There are people who are ready, the INEC is making arrangements, deploying things all about, whereas there are people who are getting ready to die. Just making arrangements to die. I mean, I said so, and it played out. You see, why should you die for somebody? Why should you go and carry a gun and take somebody's life for another person who is already, the person they are fighting for is in the cozy air-conditioned room, enjoying life with his people, and then you are out there as thugs, and in fact, these people you are talking about, even after the electoral process and the winner have been declared, they don't have the wherewithal to even ascend to any position, any meaningful position. Most of these people. So that's the problem we find ourselves. And if you chronicle the history of election in Nigeria, you see, it's just that the level of gangsterism is on the increase. Otherwise, it has always been so, right from the onset. Right from the time of Akintola, Adelabu, Awolowo, and stuff like that, there was mayhem, fighting here and there. It has always been the law. So I agree with my brother. I will say, sometimes you look at Nigeria, you weep. Well, sometimes you say, well, do I need to weep? Hope rising. Let's believe that all will be well tomorrow. Otherwise, Nigeria, from the way we do our things, can be lacking to an octopus or a geriatric snail who though moves, but such movement knows no seriousness. A geriatric snail, it moves, no seriousness. The octopus is been dragged from different directions. Therefore, its movement does not progress. But I hesitate to call Nigeria an octopus because I believe in Project Nigeria. Okay. And as a man of God, I believe that the Nigeria is the Lord and the fullness thereof. Okay,
we'll come back to you, sir. Let's get the thought of Mecca Ikoga. What's your take, starting from Kogi?
Very unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. I was thinking Kogi election with Bayelsa election will be another way forward for 2023 and the other elections that might be coming, within especially Edo State. Okay. And what have
Edo State election is just next year?
By next year here. But quite unfortunate that the standard that have been set both by the political parties and by the INEC in particular, which is the empire, and the law enforcement agency, the Nigerian police, the Nigerian army, and the other related agencies, is quite indeed a disappointment. I just want to send this signal that if care is not taken, you will discover that Nigerians will be very afraid to come out again to vote in forthcoming elections. Because I wouldn't see any reason of coming to vote for somebody to kind of lead, in quote, and at the end, what comes out of it is somebody's life. If I'm coming to vote for the government to be okay, for things to work out well, and my life is a risk, I'd rather see that. And that is why you see the youth today, even those at the age of voting, on the voting day, you see them playing football. You only see the old women and the old men standing at the sun or rain or what have you. And at the end, nothing good comes out of it. I want to say the Kogi State election is a mess, completely. I watched in the social media and I heard in the news of a leader, a woman leader that was, killed by fire, burnt alive. I don't know how the government today, Mr. President, look at such a video. I don't know how the leadership of the ruling government today look at that issue. That somebody is not a mistake, it's not an accident. Somebody is just in the house and a group of youths, call them hooligans or whatever, call them thugs or whatever, set a house ablaze, and somebody is right there shouting and crying and very hopeless and seeing death at hand and dying, and somebody liked pleasure on it. And at the end of the whole thing, the governor elected either by crook or by whatever. I am not saying this for the ITV sake, I'm saying this on my own personal take. And he's been congratulated and said, you've won election, you've run a good race. I don't think this is something that should go down well in this very dispensation. It's something that every Nigerian should rise and say it will never happen again. And I look at these young men. Next time around, let's not blame the government that there is no job. My secretary made a statement here, very clear, that somebody like the governor, the elected officers are in the office, you know, chilling with air condition. If they come out to see their body, and you wish. But these guys are right outside there, no appointment to. No job will be given to them. They will wait until the next election. They will be used as thugs. I don't know where Nigerians are heading to. And I don't know where these children, these young boys and girls, if I'm included, are getting all this mentality. Our fathers were not brought up this way. We've seen elections in the past. It talks about Awolowo and
previous elections.
Previous elections. It was not like this. Yeah, there could be quarrel. I see where a brother and the brother of the same father, the same mother in different parties contest for one position. And they become enemy within the period. This one said, I'm the one that's supposed to go. This one said, I'm the one that's supposed to go. But the masses know who's supposed to go. And another thing I want to talk about, the INEC, who is in position to make things right. I've said this before. Nigeria has grown up to the time that we're not supposed to be keen on the road to vote. I have my what do you call it? I have my handset. I have my ATM card. How did we get to this? We want to kind of have a cashless country, and it's working. It's working. Why can't we get to this point? A lot of money is voted to INEC to conduct election, and we're coming here to say it was not captured in a budget. It was not, you know, in the law. The government, the Nigerian government, has not been able to pass it into law that we use electronic media. I want to say both the INEC, the law enforcement agency, the federal government, they have failed in this country with what happened in Kogi State. We don't need to sit down and watch any of these things repeating itself. Mr. President should rise up to this very challenge. If you want to govern this country and you cannot defend the lives and properties of the people you are governing, who are you going to govern tomorrow? Where are you going to lead tomorrow?
Okay, Dr. Meka will come back to you. We can see that you are very emotional, but like he has said, the comments being canvassed on this program are the personal opinions of our guest and not a reflection of independent television. But all the same, I think what Dr. Meka Ekuga has just postulated is just what has happened. And INEC surely will do something about it. From what we've heard, the petition by the Senator Dino Melaye of Kogi West has been submitted. The INEC has promised to investigate, to look into it. The governor-elect of Kogi, who of course is the incumbent, Yahaya Bello, has also condemned the violence that marred or took place in parts of Kogi State. The death of the political party woman leader, the woman that was allegedly burnt in her house. The governor has also condemned it, and he has also said that the perpetrators should be brought to book. Okay, let's come back to Dubo. Yes. Can we move straight now to Bayelsa, or you have something to talk about Kogi?
Yeah, on the lighter note.
Okay.
What do you mean by saying the views are the views of the, not the views of ITV? They are hearing the man talk, so the man is not an ITV staff.
Okay.
He can't be speaking for ITV.
No, we still need to make that clear.
They are hearing the man talk by himself.
Yes, yes.
And the man is expressing a view.
Yes.
So it's basically not an ITV staff to say it's not ITV. What happens out of this?
Okay.
I think the Kogi experience, let me say this.
Yes.
A man, the PVC is an instrument of reward or punishment. That's the PVC. So if the PVC cannot be used to either reward or punish somebody, then it's useless. I just tell myself, if I have a PVC, an election affords you an opportunity to express how you feel about the person you're going to vote for. So if people cannot, reward or punish you for an action, then of course there's no basis, because the Kogi experience for me will remember will be remembered for a very long time. A man is said not to have paid salaries for about 2 years or 1 year, and people go and reward him with votes. And you see, but I'm just happy with myself when I read this morning that the Senate has passed for second reading electronic voting.
Electronic voting.
Okay. Which is perfect. I was in America to watch the second half election in America. Okay. I went with my younger brother. We just walked into the place, did his voting. He went to work. He went to work.
Hi.
There was no problem.
He just said to me, brother, today I'm going to vote. I said, let me go with you. I went with him. I was privileged. I even have some recordings of it. I was privileged to enter the place with him. He just went there, did his voting. I went to work. But in Nigeria, we waste about 48 man-hours. And for nothing.
Waste enough money.
For nothing. Because if at the end of the day, you allocate votes, then why must people suffer to go and vote?
No, but we don't have any evidence to show
we'll
that or to authenticate that.
Evidences.
So votes
but people are seeing.
No,
but rather donation of votes are announced.
Yes. If the results coming out from a place, the number of votes exceed the number of voters, then what are you talking about? That's an allocation. But that is even for another time. But having said all this, gentlemen, I think, although in politics all parties rig, I mean, that is not even, whether it's PDP or APC or CPC or GMPP or whatever. But again, if you want to rig, but don't rig at the expense of people's lives. What is making it very, very funny and embarrassing is lives are being, taken in this process. I just hope we learn a lesson from this. Let everyone believe that this country is our country. And like my brother did say, those who really cause mayhem are young people. Young people who are not appointable at the end of the day, because, when you talk about unemployment, for instance, there is a difference between unemployment and youths that are unemployable. Some of them are very, very unemployable. All they specialize in is cause, mayhem. Okay, our election is coming. Some people are waiting. Their profession is toggling. That's their profession. They just wait. When it's time for election, we are very handy. And you go and patronize them. You know that they are there. And that's all they are good for. And I said, like he said, after election, having been used for those dirty things, you are expended. And nobody comes to you anymore. They wait for another election and come and patronize you. So for me, it's a totally unacceptable way of life. If all they do with you is to use you to cause mayhem, young persons killing young persons. Old men don't carry guns. It's the young people that carry guns. So why must the youths, who are supposed to be agents of unity, be the ones who are now agents of destabilization? So for me, I want to think that all we should do is to learn a lesson from every election. Whichever way it goes, a lesson is learned. I told people in an election there are two currencies. Currency, one currency is currency of performance, and now it's currency of relationship. Maybe we'll discuss that later.
Okay.
Discuss that later.
Okay. So let's get to talk of
like I would like to say that in our national life, there's a high degree of moral profligacy.
Okay.
And so it brings me to the question of attitude. Our problem is attitudinal.
Okay.
You see, people want to what they call the nouveau rich. They want to get rich very quickly and fast without laboring for it. That is the problem. You see, even the political class and that arena has been so made juicy to the extent that everybody want to taste the juice. If people are taught that you are there to serve your people, not necessarily going there to divide the spoils of office, as we see today in Nigeria, that you are there, that you don't need to, you didn't bring anything to this world and you're not carrying anything away. You see, no matter what you own, whether you have houses in America, in Africa, wherever you have, the moment these eyes are closed in death, you don't know anything about them again. We have the Okotiebos, we have the Ojukus. Where are they today? You see, you create problem for the young generation that are coming, because they are going to go to court to begin to fight on how these properties are going to be divided. So we must go to the basis. If we have to make Nigeria, I believe in Nigeria project. If we have to correct this situation, we must go right to the kindergarten. There must be a special formulation of educational curriculum to tell our people that there's dignity in labor. And that you do not need to fight for money. Money will come to you. What do you, is it not in your stomach? Look, my friend, if we go out there to eat for us now, what can we eat at this level now? What are you going to eat? So the other question I want to look at is this. It is very easy to criticize leadership. It's very easy to criticize leadership. You see, but the truth of the matter is that the followership are not be trained over time. You are a leader, you are here. You say, this is what we want to do. You are not the one that is going to do it. There are people down there that will do it. Okay. It's not the leader that will come down to do it. The INEC has said, this is the way to go. And there are people who are going to come to truncate the process. The actors. Now, the actors, what they call the dramatis personae, who are going to be on the field. Like I said just now, people who just woke up and said, this election, I'm going to die. And you see them dying. You see, if somebody who is well trained from home gets up in the morning, go to the polling booth, cast your vote, and go back home, you will not be a victim of death. But these are people who want to say, oh, Oshobe, we are going to die today and all that. The person you are dying for don't even know you. Okay. So it's attitudinal. We must go back to the drawing board and tell our people there's no need to do any of those. In any case, in any election, it takes two to tango. When the other person is crying hawks that they rigged, where were you? Did you fold? You folded your hands and the other people were just rigging and you were looking and you put your hands akimbo? It's because you couldn't outsmart the other one. So in any election, there's always a loser and a winner. Yeah. In Nigeria, if you look at the history of Nigeria, nobody wants to lose. Everybody are winners. That's the problem. Everybody want to win the election. Only one person will win. We have not gotten to that level where we to agree that one person will win and then let me congratulate the person no matter what.
President Jonathan did it.
President Jonathan
congratulated.
Oh my goodness! That is why Jonathan today remained the toast. I think Fayemi also did that when the election between him and Fayose. Fayemi congratulated him. They said he who fights and run away.
But later went to court.
Later went to court anyway. That is an you can wait to see the dress. So you see, they say he who fights to run away lives to fight another day. Fayemi is not the governor of Ekiti State. Okay. So you can always win tomorrow. In any case, why do you want to lose your life? They say, okay, look at what people are doing. When it is time for election, maybe 2 or 3 years. That's why I don't care about all these question of this welfareism posture that people come to display. When they maybe 15 years time, he knows that he's going to ask for election, and he begin to throw rice from a bag of rice.
Now,
and the rest of the
so it's attitudinal. No, we come back to you. We come back to you. But we want to talk about Bayelsa election. Like I told you, let me just read out this information. The Independent National Electoral Commission has presented certificate of return to the Bayelsa State Governor-elect Chief David Leon. David Leon of the APC defeated 44 candidates, including the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Senator Dure Diri, to win a cleanly contested election. The commission also presented a certificate of return to a member of the Bayelsa State House of Assembly representing Brass Constituency 1, Charles Daniel, whose supplementary election was concluded on November the 16th. The State Resident Electoral Commissioner, Pastor Monday Udo, in his welcome address, said the election conducted by INEC was adjudged right in the eyes of the world. That's what INEC said. He said the process, which started in May 2019, came with a lot of apprehension, following fears of violence hinged on the outcome of previous elections in the state that were marred by violence and killings. So, the Bayelsa experience. Now, Senator Diri is the preferred candidate of the incumbent governor or the outgoing governor of Bayelsa State, that Governor Dixon. Now, it is believed that David Leon from the APC got the backing of some very prominent leaders, even of the PDP, in Bayelsa. Now, this is a sculptor. Yes. Let's get Ekura first before we come to Mr. Seidubo.
Let me quickly address the issue of Bayelsa.
Okay.
Very, very straightforward. When there is an adage in our language that said, when you wash your hand well, you eat with elders.
Okay.
And I just discovered within me that what played in Bayelsa State was just because the little child never wanted the ideas and the, minds of the elders. When a little child you give a little food to eat, is holding it so strong, and you ask him or her, please give me small, he takes it to the back. Of course, what you should expect is a goat to pass through the back and take it away from the baby. The adult there knows exactly what is playing. With what I find out in my own Bayelsa State, I think what plays there that made PDP to lose the election is because there was no good rapport, there was no respect, if I may use the word direct, from the incumbent, the immediate past governor. Okay,
he's still there.
Yeah, he has not handed over yet.
Yeah.
And
he's not finished his tenure.
Yeah, he has not finished, but very soon.
Okay.
And the leaders that are within Bayelsa in the age of PDP. Okay. I think that's exactly what played there. Though it is an internal democracy, where you see somebody who is, at the helms of the affairs of the government in the state, would not want to take any advice or order from the elders, from those who have been there before them. It does not go down well. A similar thing plays in Imo State.
Okay.
And I think this is exactly what happens in Bayelsa. If we come to go deeper in the issue of Bayelsa, you also discover that the role of the power that be, the central power, was also involved in the matter. APC as a party would want to take over all the states in Nigeria. And there should not be an opposition. So whatever they can do, whether to invest financially, whether to make sure different kinds of meetings are being done in the open or in the secret, they will do it to see that they take over power. Because in Nigeria, we are not looking at leadership. What is playing in Nigeria democracy is rulership. We just say something here, nobody wants to lose. And of course, if both of us are in a race, I would want to win, you would want to win. You don't expect me to tell you I'm going to lose this election. Yeah. No, I won't agree. Even if the result is to be called at the last minute, I'm still hoping that I'm going to win.
Okay, thank you. We'll come back to you. Mr. Seidubo.
The Bayelsa experience,
yes.
I take some of the things he said there.
Okay.
Our very dear Governor Dixon,
okay,
deployed raw power.
Okay.
You made a point that the governor's preferred candidate, it should not be his governor's, it should be the party's preferred candidate.
The people.
You see, the governor himself shot himself on the foot. Because at the time he was picking, okay, the party was not supposed to pick, he picked. And everybody said no. How dare you talk about a man like Timi Alaibe? Timi Alaibe is household. Household in Bayelsa. Household. Over time he's been there. You can use his name as a guarantee. It's a guarantee. You saw a man like that just because you thought he was having a strong personality and because you want to go to the Senate. What kind of rubbish is that? So for him, he thought he could just bring one unknown, who had no political history. A man, in politics, for instance, I must say this to you as a politician. If you're going to pick a candidate, 50% of victory must be from the candidate. It's popular, it's acceptable. The other 50% you are going to work for it. But he must, on his own, bring to the table his own credibility.
Okay.
He's popular enough for anybody to say, okay, I know this guy, he has character. Yeah. But if you bring a man who is an unknown entity and you say, you can't do anything. So what I've just done is to teach him a lesson. Gentlemen, you can't just do this. But that is not to say that is all over yet, because there are also some very high manipulation in Bayelsa. But I think what has just played out now, the leaders of the... a friend of mine in Bayelsa said to me, it's not APC, PDP. It is Bayelsans versus PDP.
That's right.
Yes.
I heard that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is the entire Bayelsa
versus
PDP. Not APC and PDP.
No.
So the people rose to say, come on,
you can't.
Enough of this. In the first 4 years of Dixon, they were going to remove him. But Goodluck said,
not
Okay.
If a man like that in his own wisdom gives you an advice, I know a president that appointed advisors and said, I'm not bound by your advice. A president in this country appointed 16 advisors and his day was swearing them in. He told them, I'm not bound by your advice. What did you appoint them?
Yeah.
You know, but very basically, I think politicians should learn from this. And what even in the presidential election, the government elections during the presidential at the same time,
Yeah.
why some states, changed guards was because of impunity. You see, for the PDP, Bayelsa is the political capital of PDP. And that election was a high-stake election. High-stake. And to have just jettisoned every known to lose that election is a major pain for the PDP to have lost Bayelsa. I was listening to my friend Wike. Wike is now saying, they have come to Bayelsa, they are coming to me now.
The enemy. The enemy is coming.
Yes, the enemy. Is it the Bayelsa is the political capital of the PDP. And now you've lost it. you've lost it by just carelessness. So that also brings us to the issue of party primaries.
That's right.
Party primaries.
Yes.
When the thing, you see, one woman was, the Benin Provincial, the woman was carrying a load on her head, and the load was like this, bent. They said, "Madam, straighten your load." They said, "No, not be my head, now my leg. Now my leg, now ain't bent. Not be my head bent. Now my leg, now ain't bent. So the load, that's my leg bent, now ain't the load take bent." So basically, the foundation of a relationship is at the point where you're going to pick. I use the word two currencies that just now.
Yeah.
One is performance currency. The other one is relationship currency.
Yeah.
Performance, yes, if you have done well, but a politician should get both performance and relationship, because you are doing well as a governor, you can always get, and you don't maintain a relationship with other people. So you must performance 80%, relationship 20%. So at the end of the day, everybody is believing that we are on the same page. But I just wish that Nigerians will learn a lesson. Let us throw away impunity. Let us use a system whereby everybody will be relevant. If 4 of us are contesting for a position and we pick our brother in a process that is fair, we will not quarrel. But if we believe that he was picked from an unfair process,
yeah,
we will leave him, we'll let him go and do his work. But if it's a process that was fair, we'll all join.
Okay.
We'll all join.
So a quick one before we leave this issue of, but a quick one. Yes. Do you think this card reader thing has really helped to improve elections in this country?
Well, it ought to have helped to improve elections. It ought to. You see, let me tell you one thing. We shouldn't shout Uhuru when we have not even started anything. Yeah. When we are advocating the use of electronic device that is going to be seamless. It's going to be seamless when we talk about.
So you believe that the electronic system will be better
when we talk about other clients. Yeah. Because the Nigerian, most Nigerians, I don't want to say every Nigerian, most Nigerians, maybe 50 or 60%, they are in the business of circumventing what is always the norm. So you see, in America and in Europe, a lot of atrocities that has been perpetrated by way of what do you call it, the credit card crime that you talk about in America, most Nigerians are involved, and that's highly electronic. So you are talking about an electronic device. Nigerians will be working somewhere now to see what they can do to circumvent it. So it's not going to be an Uhuru thing. So we are only going to pray that if it comes, it works, because this card reader would have been very good at the time it was introduced. But we have the pitfalls. You remember, we don't have power in this country. And so when we are talking about electronic voting now, you say, oh, this thing by using my telephone or whatever, by this, I couldn't charge my this thing. So there are so many fundamental things that need to be done before we get to the level we are getting. Because Nigerians believe, just imagine what is happening. The other time, this woman Akunile was in charge of drugs. There were people who had industries. Of NAFDAC. He was in charge of NAFDAC. Yeah. There were people who had industries for the manufacturing of fake drugs. Industries for the manufacturing, not of genuine drugs, but fake drugs. This is who we are. May God help us. You see, that's so what I'm saying is that let us now learn in this country. Let us go back to the drawing board. Yeah. Let politics be in the curriculum of secondary school, right from kindergarten, and say, look, even though you are PDP and I'm APC, we are one. We are Nigerians. We are from Edo State. So let the pendulum begin to swing. Let the people begin to decide. Oh, you have ruled us for 8 years, PDP or APC. We have seen all you could take. But let us also try the other way. Let the pendulum swing. And when the pendulum do swing, we also help the other pendulum, knowing fully well that if Edo is good, or if Nigeria is good, it's going to be good for all of us. But what we find today is that once you are a PDP or the other person is APC, you are enemies. You are daggers drawn. I don't know why that came from. We are all brothers. We are the same. We just forget that we were one before.
Man of God.
Thank you.
Man of God.
Quick one on the quick one on the card reader, the electronic voting. Quick one on that.
The card reader, like my bishop here said, was supposed to be a very good instrument to strengthen our method of voting. Yes. But the way and manner they used it, those not just electricity, but those who are right there, do they really make proper use of what do you call it?
Card reader.
Card reader. Do they really make use of the card reader? They just put it there, whether you whatever. It's what they write with their hands is what we take. Okay. And this is where I want to come in. That in the forthcoming elections, for us not to have any of these shortcomings, the INEC must wake up. They should, if money is being voted for the law enforcement agency regarding to elections, and these personnels are being deployed, they should sit down, starting from now. No. How can we be able to put these measures right?
Okay. But there was one funny thing, while they were making their initial comments, I was just looking. Everybody that spoke said, oh, from what we have seen today, we have just voted, even Dodiri himself and all that, wonderful law enforcement agents. They are civil, very, very, very good guys. We saw them performing their duty at the early stage of the event. They made such comments. They did make such comments.
Even that, sir.
No, they cannot come with violence at the beginning.
Before you interject, let me just quickly ask you this question, because we need to handle this. Now, former President Goodluck Jonathan in Otoeke actually complained of inadequacies.
Nobody was there when he got there.
E-preparation. Yes. He accused INEC
of
late arrival of INEC personnel, even journalists.
Security, everybody.
Yeah. So let's take that.
He made the point. Yeah. Even the people were not on ground to vote. Yeah. So he said, what is wrong? Yeah. Even the people didn't turn out.
Now, former President Jonathan made a comment on what is wrong with us. Now, what is wrong with us?
Yeah, what is wrong with us is us. You know? Yeah. But, I was coming to that comment actually.
Yeah.
No. Because he said he got there by 8:15. No, quarter to 8. Then by 8:15.
Yes.
Nobody was there.
Nobody was even there to vote.
No official, no security man, no persons to come and people can't vote. I mean, so very honestly, again, maybe what he said, that people were scared of coming to vote. Maybe they just decided to abandon that area and say, okay, fine, we don't want to be, nobody wants to be injured or killed. But I don't know now why people were not.
But they eventually came out.
They eventually came out. 9:30. They were watching. They were watching to see how the environment.
They eventually came out 9:30.
Yes.
That's 1.5 hours after the time regulated.
Yes.
So that's looking at the.
And then the INEC people were waiting for them.
Yes.
There were nobody came. They were just waiting.
The issue of fake police, my brother. If you had fake police like he's talking about, why didn't your own police arrest the fake police?
With what?
No, with whatever. If those people were fake police, then you had your own good police. Why didn't your men arrest the fake police? But I won't say this, my brother. One lesson we must learn. One lesson we must learn. Let us tell ourselves, the card reader is not an alternative to e-voting. The card reader can still encourage mayhem. It doesn't stop people from fighting. But the electronic voting, nobody knows anything. You just go there, you vote, and you go away. But the card reader, we still need to converge. So we should avoid convergence. We should avoid people coming together.
That's right.
That is the problem. People should not come together. Whether card reader or not, people should not come together. Let's just avoid the coming together of people. So the e-voting, you just go there, you cast your vote, and you are off.
Yes.
And government will not even lose man hours declaring holidays.
No. Yes.
You can vote and go to work.
And go to work. It's done so in Europe.
So for me, I just believe that we'll get there. Honestly, I'm so happy when I listened this morning that the Senate is considering for final reading the e-voting system. So for me, it's fine. So I want to wish Nigeria well. Okay. I only hope that the Edo State is the next one.
Yeah, that's next year, 2020.
For 2020, even though it's heating up now. But let's hope that they will have passed the e-voting law by August next year. And that would be very novel for us. I will be so happy to see that in 2020, we are going to be the pilot to see how we do e-voting. God bless Nigeria.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think I will sue for e-voting. And we hope that once it comes, usually with the Nigerian style, we don't circumvent it. Okay. We have VAR now in football. We also need such e-voting. And number two, we should have political education. Let our politicians know that we are one and the same people. Gio Zamere in his jingle, which I love so much, you say your own, I say my own. At the end of the day, we are brothers and sisters. So that should also play out.
I want to believe Nigerians, we're going to be great. We are the giant of Africa. We will remain the giant of Africa.
Sleeping
but it can only be actualized when the political parties understand that the reason of any elected governor, senator, president is for the interest of Nigerians.
Thank you very much. My viewer out there, I hope you've enjoyed today's edition of the program, 60 Minutes Nigeria. Time is not always our friend. A lot to talk about,